Hey, hi, it's so good to see you again. It has been a hot minute. So, you know how sometimes you decide to radically change your life so that you can live a more authentic existence that is in fuller alignment with your core values, and how sometimes that means drastically downsizing everything that you own, moving into a tiny house and becoming a river pirate? Yeah, that happened to me recently.
As I do will, so mote it be.
Lorelei Black here from Blade and Broom. This, in case you don't know, is basically like your favorite witchy aunts. 24/7, I totally live in the cottage all the time now. Cottage, where we talk about witchcraft, especially traditional witchcraft. Thank you so much for all of the ways that you support the channel and my content creation outside of the channel. You are amazing humans, and I greatly appreciate you. Thank you. And if there's things that we talk about today that you want to learn more about, or being able to follow me elsewhere, whatnot, you're going to find all that down in the links in the description box below. So before I get really underway with today's video, let me just say that I am totally aware that the video and audio quality is not fantastic, because I'm not wearing makeup, I don't have my lights, I don't have my regular camera, I don't have my regular mic. I am relying just on the power of my webcam, which struggles. But basically, I really didn't even have insulation and water throughout the entire month of July, so where I am right now is so much better. You know, I actually had somebody who got really snippy with me in July because I wouldn't commit to doing a video conference type chat with them until basically right now, because I knew that my life was chaotic at the moment and I couldn't commit to even being able to access internet. And I didn't have internet until just a few days ago, so it was totally 100% spot on. But there's no worries, because we sent the cat and rabbit to live in safe spaces while we weathered through the heat of July and August. And now we have insulation, drywall, electric throughout, plumbing throughout. My bathtub got installed literally today. And the whole little happy family, cat, rabbit, husband, and me, are all reunited and ready to put some stuff up on the walls. And I'd like to show you around. You're actually joining me here today in my office slash studio slash ritual space slash the rabbit's bedroom, because she actually owns it. Her name is Anya, and I'm sure that you're going to be seeing a lot more of her since I'm going to be filming in her bedroom. This space doesn't look like an office slash studio slash ritual space because it doesn't really have any furniture in here except for the desk and the computer and the rabbit, but she's not furniture, I understand that. I'm doing this video today because I wanted to show you what has been keeping me away from YouTube and social media and content creation and all of that stuff for the last several months. That thing that has been keeping me away is this new tiny cottage slash retreat space. So there are actually 3 buildings on the property, and I'm going to show them to you in just a minute and show you what the layout looks like. But you heard that part right. This is going to be a tiny retreat center. Part of it is just our residence where my husband and I live with the aforementioned cat and rabbit, and another portion of it is essentially guest space. And it's going to be like the teeny tiniest little micro retreats that you ever imagined. Like 4 to 15 people would be the max of what we could comfortably do. Writing, making videos, and hosting events is are my three big content creation outlets. They're really where my passion is. It is how my teaching comes out. And this space is it was envisioned first and foremost as a place where those things could happen. So it is my great honor to be able to share with you my Witchy River writing retreat. So back in April of 2022, my husband and I purchased a little, and I mean very little, piece of land on the Ohio River with the intention of building a tiny house and a tiny retreat center. We knew that we wanted a downsized space for us to live now that it is just the two of us, plus a cat and a rabbit. But we also knew that we wanted guest space for my grown-ass children to come visit, along with any significant others that they may have over the coming years. We also wanted space for my parents to come and stay if they needed to, as they age and need more care. And aside from those considerations, we also knew that we wanted space for small, very small, like microscopically small events, like intensive retreats. For a very long time, we have both been involved in festival planning for the pagan community, and I have talked about that in other videos. But neither one of us necessarily wants to go bigger, harder, stronger on the event planning. We want to go deeper. And in my experience, the retreats are some of the best ways to do that. Since 2009, I have been either the co-facilitator or the primary facilitator for the Women's Goddess Retreat. That retreat has also been very, very formative and important to me, as well as to my eldest spawn, who has been attending since she was 11 years old. I have other retreats in mind that I want to do, both pagan flavored and not pagan flavored. Some of the pagan and witchy flavored retreats include a traditional witchcraft weekend or week-long intensive retreat, a pagan writers retreat, a priestess retreat, an Aphrodite retreat. So with these ideas in mind, my husband and I started designing the space. We knew that we really didn't need that much space for ourselves to live in, that we were being more owned by our stuff than we were enjoying a lot of the things that we had in our possession in our more conventional house. So we went really pretty radically small. The new space that we live in is only 560 square feet. And the retreat center space is an additional 560 square feet of interior space. There's also going to be some exterior space that has not been built yet. There will be a large deck that spans across the back of the two buildings. It is our intention to have a pavilion of some sort on that deck so that there is covered space. There will be some side fencing so that it is private. We spent a lot of the first couple of months planning and designing what the space would look like while we were getting everything in order just for purchasing the property. While we did that, we also had my little Witchy Cottage that has served as my ritual space and studio for the last year and a half. We had that space moved out to the new property. We're calling that new property Driftwood, by the way. So the cottage that we live in, we're calling Driftwood Cottage. The retreat space is Driftwood Tiny Retreats. So my little yellow witch's cottage got moved, and then it had to get repositioned because it was facing an inconvenient direction for the utilities. Our general contractor built 2 platforms that our houses would be positioned on top of. The builders that were handling the buildings themselves delivered our 2 buildings 2 weeks apart in June. Wouldn't you know it though, June is when we both got COVID, so that was really hard on both of us. And everything ended up taking longer because we were sick and had a really hard time getting things packed up and moved and just handling our lives. Our builder also graciously agreed to frame in the walls for both sets of buildings. So we planned out the interiors of both buildings. And here's kind of what they look like on the inside. So our residence, the cottage, has a bedroom that is literally big enough for our bed. We each have an office, and those are the 2 biggest rooms in the house. They act as gaming studios and workshop spaces and creative sanctuaries for each of us. They're on opposite ends of the house so that if we're both working on something, our sound won't disrupt what the other one is doing. And because we are both big gamers, there is the very real possibility that there will be some gaming content sprouting up from us on a different channel. If that happens, I will let you know, on the off chance that you're interested in such things. We also have a very small kitchen, a fairly large pantry, a decidedly large for us bathroom. It's bigger than the bathroom we had in our more traditional house in Louisville. And a hearth room, which will feature a wood-burning fireplace, a daybed, and some bookcases. It's more of a reading nook than a living room. The guest quarters include 2 bedrooms that will feature queen-size beds and their own private bathrooms with showers, a divided bathroom in which the shower and toilet are separate, both accessible from the deck that connects the 2 buildings, and a larger room that will either be a bunkhouse space with 2 bunk beds and its own shower and bathroom, or it will be more of a common room where we have inside meeting space and some amenities that would be available to guests who might either be camping in our yard or taking advantage of the 2 queen-size bedrooms. We're nothing if not flexible in our planning, so this space has changed in concept a couple of times, even since it was built. It'll be a surprise to us how we end up finishing it out. We're also able to walk directly from the back door of our house, which is in my studio space, and the doors of those 2 queen suites directly out to the Ohio River, since our property is bordered on the north side by the river. We're finally at the stage where we're starting to move the furniture in. We spent most of the summer without insulation, which was really pretty terrible given how hot it was. We made blanket forts around the window unit air conditioners and sent the cat and the rabbit away. It's only been in the last week that we've had reliable access to internet again, and it's only been in the last week that all of our electrical fixtures got hooked up and installed. So we've been living pretty rough this summer, but it has been well worth it. My little office slash studio currently just has my desk, computer, and rabbit, but I'm going to be excited to share with you the progress that I make on getting it set up into the magical oasis that it's going to be. We have a lot of goals for having this kind of space in our lives. One is that our expenses are not nearly as high, so we can afford to work a little less out in the world, as it were, and do more of the content creation that brings us great joy. This is my own personal writer's retreat, even if nobody else comes to a retreat event that I host. And we will be hosting events. We're hoping to be able to host the first events by the end of this autumn, maybe the winter. But they might be waiting until the spring, depending on how the building projects go. Everything's been slower and a little more expensive than we had counted on, which is no great surprise given the labor shortages and supply shortages that everyone is facing right now. So lots of writing for Lorelei. I plan on doing more online kinds of teaching and classes, webinars, events, the kinds of things I can host with a stable internet connection. And I'm going to bring you more witchy goodness than I've ever been able to bring you before, and I'm so excited. If you're interested in learning more about or keeping up with the various witchy and pagan retreat type events that I plan on hosting out here, in the event that you might join me in person for such fantastical activities, please do sign up for the Thread app, which is the free app that I have made available to folks who are interested in my shenanigans. So make sure that you grab yourself a free account and check the news and notes to see more about what's going on. Thanks so much for your patience, friends, and I fully anticipate actually being on camera again as early as next week. It's going to be amazing. I hope you're getting up to some witchy goodness. Bye, friends.